How's it going, folks? Stu here. 2023, huh? We are blitzing through this thing at breakneck speed. Somebody slow this train down, right? April already? I can't quite believe it. March was a fun one. Suddenly life's getting very busy. Was also a month in which I turned another age. I am the ripe old age of 28 now. Yes, congrats to me, thank you very much. I have, however, still been watching some films, so I reckon it's time we sit back, grab a beverage of choice, and go through everything I watched in March. And I'd love to sit here and say that this is yet again another mammoth edition of last month on Letterboxd, but it wasn't. I don't know how people are out there online saying they've watched like hundreds of films a month. I watched 8 films in March. 8 films. I imagine this isn't the best sort of teaser for the rest of the video. Please do stick around. But I do feel a little bit like at any second a whole bunch of SWAT people are going to smash through my windows on ropes and just snatch. March. Look at that. It's just there. It's 8 films. This is going to go very quickly, isn't it? 7th of March, we start things off with Scream 6, which I do have a full review for on the channel if you didn't already check it out. Link in the description for that one. A fresh, fun, energetic move to a New York location. See what I did there? Put York in brackets because I'm very witty, but it loses steam remarkably quickly, falling into almost all of the same traps as its predecessor. Yeah, at this point with these new Scream films, look, I'm not having a bad time with them, but they're not wowing me, and I really want them to be wowing me, and I really feel like if they're going to do more, they should start wowing me soon. So it'd be nice if they just turn that page. 3 stars for Scream 6, or should I say 3 stars? I'm not going to scream in my actual flat. Someone might think I'm dying. Next up on the 12th, I warned you there'd be big gaps in these diary entries. Rashomon, which is an Akira Kurosawa film. I have seen an alarmingly little amount of Akira Kurosawa's work, which is obviously terrible. What sort of cinephile do I call myself? I'm a fraud. But Picture House, cinema chain over here in the UK, was running a Kurosawa season at their cinemas. So I went and took my little booty and sat down. We watched one that I hadn't seen before. That one was Rashomon. Only the second Kurosawa I've ever seen. Terrible form, I know. So I'm still wildly impressed by just how striking and accomplished this is. I know that sounds like a stupid, incredibly naive thing to say about, I don't know, one of the greatest directors that ever did it, but I am like, you watch it now and you're like, I really feel like some of this wouldn't have held up as well as it does, or I'm expecting things to be dated. Like when you go back and watch classics, especially classics from 70 years ago, yeah, you just feel a bit like, I'm going to be aware of how dated things are, but I'm going to appreciate them for what they were at the time. And yeah, that's obviously the case in a lot of places in this film, but most of it, it feels very kind of fresh and exciting, and I guess that's the power of good cinema, right? Timeless and all that. But man, yeah, this really was good. So good, in fact, that I called it Wicked Stuff, which sounds a little bit like I'm a 50-year-old dad trying to fit in with their son's friends around the barbecue. 4 stars for Rashomon. I wish it was called Rashomon, because then maybe I would have rushed to watch some more films in March, but I didn't. The next one I watched was on the 14th. Halfway through March, and I'd watched 3 films. I do want to scream and cry into a pillow. But that film was Infinity Pool. And listen, I actually didn't do a full review for this one because I was supposed to, and I'm not a very good YouTuber. But I do want to actually talk about it in a bit more detail on the channel. So there'll be a video with my thoughts on Infinity Pool in some shape or form coming up. So I will continue to keep it brief here anyway. Any film that can make me go from, damn, those are some nice fonts, to, wow, he sure is coming in the space of 20 minutes, gets stars. Yeah. Lots to unpack here, especially if you haven't seen the film. I very much did appreciate the style of this thing and the look of this thing that was led by the typeface at the front. Great splash title cards, a good title sequence. Similarly though, yes, he, ejaculate. Big fan of wild, nuts, over-the-top body horror stuff, and obviously Cronenberg's going to do it well. And I do think this is probably my favourite of Brandon Cronenberg's works. It's a film which warrants multiple viewings, I think, if you can stomach it. Some people might watch it and go, no, I'm not watching that again. You maniac, I'm not watching it again. But I would be on the other side of the coin that says I'm always up for watching Alex Skarsgård come. 4 stars for Infinity Pool, which is, in the context of this last month on Letterboxd, quite an ironic title because I watched the opposite of infinite films. Next up on the 15th, I watched John Wick, the first one, not to be confused with but there's no other films called Why am I saying this? I'm sure I don't need to explain why that might be on my diary. The new one was coming out and I thought, hey, I should probably watch some of the older ones. And I was originally going to watch all of them, but then life. So I ended up just rewatching the first one, which I think was apt because I hadn't seen that one for a long time. And my good God, this film is like a decade old at this point, which feels... Where did that time go? And man, it is just so fun to watch something so unashamedly filled with action cheese through and through. Still rips, even if the music, pacing, color grade can get in the way of things a little too often. Yeah, watching it now, it definitely feels of its time in a really kind of surprising way. I didn't expect that at this point, but it's quite endearing watching a film that feels so outside of big franchise kind of comic booky stuff. Like, I know obviously in 2014 we had franchise comic booky stuff getting off, but you know, it's not quite where it is at this point, and it feels nice to go back and watch something like this, which is just so unashamedly a cheesy on its own action thing. Just fun stuff, good stuff. 4 stars for John Wick. And then a few days later I watched another Cronenberg film, this one from the main man, the top dog, David Cronenberg, not his son Brandon. It's Dead Ringers. And let me tell you, this film was great. I had a good time, it was crazy, and it did all the stuff I want. Ripped so hard. God, Jeremy Irons is so good, question mark. This is a short review, obviously. I don't want to elaborate too much on it, because if you haven't seen it, just watch it and just trust me, it's good, it's nuts. But I will say, Jeremy Irons is obviously great, and he gives a dual performance, which are always impressive. And at the beginning with those sort of films, you're like, am I gonna just be aware that this is someone doing the same thing like twice on especially older ones? But man, honestly, A, he's amazing in both performances, and B, there's a lot of really good kind of subtle VFX visual trickery going on that just immediately convinces you you're watching two twins. It's great stuff. I loved it. 4 stars for Dead Ringers. At this point in the month, it really does feel like a month of 4 stars for me. So yeah, kind of hoping we can keep that going and not have another terrible one pop into the mix. I'm saying that as if there's a tease that there is a terrible one to come, but that's not happening yet because we went and saw John Wick Chapter 4, which I have got a full review for on the channel. That's a video I did get up for you guys. Link is in the description for that one. This film was big, very big, especially in comparison to having just watched the first one, which is like this kind of really tight little 90-minute action cheesy piece on its own in 2014, and now we're here at John Wick 4, which is double the length and way bigger in production scale and budget, and it's kind of alarming to see where it's come, how far it's gone, the franchise, and it's awesome. I loved it. How the fuck are they still pulling this off? I cannot believe some of the shit I saw here. Truly, there are like moments in this film, and I say this with every John Wick film, but honestly, this one has got the most of them, where I'm sat in the audience in a cinema and I'm just kind of like, what the hell is going on? Like, how am I here watching something that someone has made and it's this? And this is something that someone did. Like, they made this shit. Good stuff. Thoroughly enjoyed it. 4 stars for John Wick Chapter 4. And then I had another week without films, which just feels mad. But we came back into the mix with the new Evil Dead Rise. I haven't got my full review for this one up yet. I'm not sure if my full review is going to be up before this video goes up. I'm going to assume it won't be. So, for now, you're getting no thoughts, because it was embargoed when I logged it on Letterboxd. I'm going to keep this suspense alive. Who knows what I possibly think of Evil Dead Rise? It's not like you'd have to, I don't know, go over onto my Twitter and see me saying a good thing about it when I saw it to work out whether I've just spoiled it, haven't I? Whoa, don't even bloody know what star rating I'm giving Evil Dead Rise yet. You'll have to wait and see for my full review. Ooh, that's a tease. Let's carry on. I finished the month. I can't believe we're at the end of the month. This is a repetitive video, but I can't believe I just got through to the end of the month. I feel like I've been sat here talking for 2 minutes total, maybe? I finished the month off with a rewatch of The Spectacular Now. And listen, I used to love this film. I think this film came out in, 2013, 10 years ago. So I was 18 years old. This was like prime coming of age film time, and I love a coming of age film. You guys know this about me. So this was quite, I guess you'd call it like a formative film in many ways for me, and I loved it back in the day. Haven't watched it for a while. Rewatching it, you know what? Doesn't hold up that well, my guys. And it seems like I'm kind of on my own about this versus all my pals' ratings on Letterboxd. I was alarmed by how much I didn't really click with this thing versus how much I used to click with it, which is always a very weird feeling, right? It's never fun going back to a film you know you used to love and not loving it. But I do feel like there are things in this film which are, let's just say it's very obvious this film was written by a dude of a certain age, I guess. It glosses over things which I think maybe a more complex film and a better director might have felt more comfortable diving into and exploring, and it feels like it's almost begging to be explored, and it just sort of throws it aside a little bit. It's weird. It kind of, there's a disconnect when I watch it now, and I don't know whether it's just a frame of mind I'm in when I watch it now, or if it isn't as good a film as I thought it was. All I do know is that it's gone down from, I believe, a 4 stars for me to a 3 stars. Oh, yikes, that's a big old drop. But with that, we come to the spectacular end of March. I warned you it was a quick one, 8 films. I'd say a pretty good bunch of films though, right? We got through some good stuff. We're hitting my quota, I think, half of getting a classic in there. I didn't watch anything really bad actually, which is a good thing, but also I have said that I like getting a bad one in there. Maybe next month, this month in fact, I'll get something tragic in, so give me a recommendation of something terrible. I'd like to watch that, I think. But more importantly, do let me know what you guys have been watching in March in the comments down below. I am very interested to see if any of you watched less than me. That would be somewhat of a feat, I guess. But if you watch anything you want to recommend, or if you just have anything you want me to watch and chat about on a later edition of Last Month on Letterboxd, slap that in the comments below, because where else would you put it, my guy? You know, what, you're gonna write it on a piece of paper, slip it under a pigeon and send it to me? You're not gonna do that, are you? As I already mentioned, you can find links to a couple of the films that I've done full review for on the channel in the description below, as well as my socials, including my actual Letterboxd account, if you want to go follow me there and see what I'm watching in real time. I will see you guys very soon for some more thoughts on more films, but until next time, I need to go and, you know, reschedule my time or something. There's got to be more time for films in life, huh? What's going on here?